Between Two Dumbbells. I'm your host, Skip Hill, and I'm bringing over 40 years of bodybuilding experience to the table, including over 24 years of online coaching. Usually I'm joined by my co-host, Dr. Marv, but today we have a guest on the show who you might know as the Mutant. The rest of us know him as a guy who arguably should have beaten Derek a few weeks ago in Pittsburgh, but he did win the New York Pro for the third time a week later. We'll get to that soon enough. But Nick Walker is here today to discuss what we typically discuss on Between Two Dumbbells, and that is training. We'll do a deep dive into Nick's training now versus when he started, what that evolution has looked like, and what he has learned works for him between picking up his first weights to turning pro and as he gets ready for the O later this year. Of course, we'll also be doing another segment of Intimate Time where I will ask Nick 10 questions that cannot have anything to do with bodybuilding. Remember, every time you comment on the show on YouTube, you'll be included in a drawing at the end of each month to receive a Team Skip t-shirt. It'll show up over here, Nick. And Dr. Mar's online bodybuilding anatomy course, which will show up over here, Nick. We'll post the winner for the month on my Intense Muscle IG account, and we'll also reach out to the winner via their YouTube account. And I want to add the next month, I'll be sweetening the pot and adding a $150 shopping spree for Elite FTS. Nick, first, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Very cool, very cool. And we always talk about training. We dive into the minutia, the nuance, that sort of thing. What I want to know is I want to kind of dig into kind of the training that you did when you started versus, and kind of how that's evolved over time. But first, do this. I'll knock the hell out of my mic here. Sorry about that. I want a little bit of a timeline for the listeners, for the viewers. As far as when you started, you're young, I'm old, I'm 55, you're 30. So you haven't been in this game a long time. You're very good at it. We all respect that. But I want to know what it looks like as far as a timeline. Like, when did you start training? When did you decide, you know what? I think I have a physique here that I can do something. When did you come into, I think I might be a freak. I might be able to be really good at this. What does that timeline look like? I know a thing or two about training, but I built a reputation in the bodybuilding industry for removing skin. If you have too much skin, call me. Remember, skin is overrated.
So, I mean, first and foremost, I mean, I obviously will say genetics just play a major role regardless in this thing. But, I mean, I started training-wise, before competing, I started training at 13. In my basement, we had a good set of dumbbells. We had the Bowflex dumbbells that went from like 0 to 52. Yeah. And we had like a whole Bowflex thing. So I would just use that while I was 13 because I didn't go to a gym yet. And this was after I watched the movie 300. So I wanted a 6-pack and big ass arms. That was kind of my goal. And I figured at the age of 13, I kind of achieved that. And I thought it was kind of cool. And then obviously I wanted to like get really big in high school. So I started, my first gym was actually Planet Fitness, which I actually still go to now for cardio because I think Planet Fitness is king of cardio, in my opinion. They got the good shit.
And pizza on Fridays, I believe, too.
Pizza, and I think Bagel Mondays.
Ah. Now, what year is this when you're in high school? What year did you graduate?
I graduated 2012.
Ah, 2012.
So yeah, I was a freshman, I guess, 2008. I guess 2009-ish. And I quickly outgrew Planet Fitness. very fast. And then I went to a gym that was called Extreme Fitness, which was my all-time favorite gym. That was like a just not a corporate gym, just someone of made and built himself. And it had dumbbells, I believe, that went from I think like 5 to like 160s. It had all the old school hammer strength equipment that you could think of. Like it was that hardcore. Everybody was just big in there. And I walked in at like 15 years old, and I believe at the time I weighed like 190-ish, I want to say.
And how tall are you?
I'm 5'8" now.
Okay. All right.
I gotta always make that clear, but I think at the time I might have been like 5'7". So I think I packed an inch.
And that's a relatively lean 190. You've never really been a fat kid, right? I never
got like fat. I mean, when I was younger, I was more prone to like holding water than anything. But once I got to that gym, I didn't know really. I don't want to say I didn't know how to work. I knew how to work out, but it wasn't like I would just go in, have my set body part days, and like just do a shit ton of volume, like it was nobody's business. But I was strong, like I didn't have a chest, but I was inclining the 160s for like 10, not realizing.
At like 15 years old.
Yeah, not realizing though I was using all probably tricep and shoulder.
Yeah, I don't think anybody cared. I think they were probably just staring at you like, you gotta be kidding me.
So then at the time, everyone, I was in high school. So everyone at the time like, oh, you gotta compete. And I'm like, oh, nah, I just come here to work out. I'm good. And I don't, I don't want to wear fucking a thong on stage. Like, I'm okay.
Shave my legs, stand up here. Yeah.
So I actually went into powerlifting first when I was a junior in high school. And I benched, I think I cleared like 425 or something. And that was cool. I liked it. And then as I became a senior, I blew up to like 230. And I was natural. I didn't take anything, absolutely nothing. That's why I said genetics play a major key in all this.
No question. But let's be fair. I'm sure you were getting those questions. People were like, people what thought the hell?
Because I was eating a lot of food, and like a diet-wise, I didn't know what I know now, obviously.
Right.
But I would eat like 3 or 4 meals a day, but it would be like, the processed bagged chicken.
Mm-hmm.
And I would get what I swear, this was like would be my meal. I would get like one of my big plates, and I would put a shit ton of rice on it to cover the whole bottom. Don't know how much, but enough. And I would get one of those frozen bag of like chicken strips that were probably processed to the gills and whatnot, and dump the whole bag on it. The whole bag. And
now, what'd you flavor it with? You got to flavor it with something.
Yeah, it was flavored. And I did all. And I would do that like 3-4 times a day. Plus, I'd have a shake post-workout, and I would do all this, and not knowing like, that's not the best way to go about what you're trying to do.
Yeah, but it's hard to argue if all of a sudden you're putting on all this strength and all this size. So it's like, well, I think I'm going to kind of run with this.
Yeah, it worked. And then I graduated high school. I was about 230. And that was when I was like, you know what? I ain't going to college or nothing. I'm going to give the bodybuilding thing a try. So me and my dad actually tried to do my first show together. But he worked too much. So he couldn't be like all in the way I needed him to be. So at like 4 weeks out, I actually hired a coach that was at that gym at the time. And we only had like 4 weeks to kick it in gear. So he pretty much starved me to death. And basically I went from 230 to 159 on stage.
Oh, like he literally.
Yeah, starved me. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was doing like 2 hours of cardio plus HIIT, 2 hours of training with weight. Like I disintegrated. Like I went bye-bye.
This was in 4 weeks?
Well, I didn't start the 4 weeks out at 230. I was probably I was probably like 200, 198 at that point. Right. Yeah. But still, that was a lot of weight. And but it was so bad because I'd never done this before. So I'd be so tired, bro. Yeah. Like I'd fall asleep by 6 p.m. and wake up at like 3 a.m. and miss like 3 meals.
Yeah. Oh, no question. Now, you touched on You touched on your dad helping you. What was his background then in bodybuilding? Did that help you to get into bodybuilding? I don't know what the connection is.
He competed a little bit while he was younger. But he was like real old school, you know. He's eating like chicken and popcorn, you know what I mean?
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
The old school shit. And my brother never competed, but he was huge. He was really big in high school. Now he's married with a kid and soft and small. So I'm the only one that took it to a level that was, you know, above. And
did he have that genetic potential? Your brother?
Yeah. I always said my brother would probably be better than me if he ever took that serious.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny how that works because I've always said you making the point about the genetic predisposition is huge. There are a lot of people walking around out there with really good genetic potential, arguably really good physiques, but it's not their thing. They psychologically don't want to deal with everything that comes with bodybuilding and prep, or they just have other things that they're just not passionate about it. So they're not going to bury themselves in it.
Which is even for me, and I'll say it out loud. I don't care. I'm passionate about this. I love it to death. But the reality is, like, it's fucking dumb, dude. Like, you know what I mean?
If I wasn't good at this, I probably would not do this.
Like, being in shape is awesome, but like competing, like, and everything it entails, it's fucking dumb, dude. Like, let's be honest.
All-consuming. The things that we sacrifice. You know, it's funny because I've always said, and this is not me trying to pat myself on the back for having mediocre genetics, but it's one of those things that I very, very clearly love and are passionate about because I'm not good at it. And I always think, I'm like, if I was good at it and I could just kick everybody's ass, that would probably fuel myself even more, but I can't imagine how. It's just, I'm mediocre and I still love, for some weird dysfunctional reason.
You know why I love it? I think one of the main reasons is because the structure.
Absolutely.
It keeps me very, like in the off season, I'm still very structured, right? But then we all know how it is. You take very long off seasons, like post show, you're structured, let's say for a good 5-6 months, you're on it. And then out of nowhere, you're going to be like, is this off season over yet? Like, I'm ready to go. And you're like, nah, bro, you got another like 6-7 months to go.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, that structure just, you start missing a meal here and there. You might miss a training session here and there. But I also, to go on the other side of things, sometimes missing a workout in the off season, I used to look at it as a bad thing, but now being older, it's like, hey, you're resting. Take more rest, if you know what I mean. Like, so I don't always think it was a bad thing to sometimes losing motivation a little bit, because the reality is we'll all get it right back as soon as we get the cue we're starting prep, right? Oh, shit, here we go, right? But when you tend to lose that motivation, it might not be, it's not necessarily detrimental, because if you've been going so hard in the off season, let's just say, you know, out of the last 4 weeks before you start prep, you maybe only train 2 to 3 times a week, but you still look relatively good. You let your body rest quite a bit.
Yep.
And your body's about to be fresh as fuck to start prep. So you kind of put yourself in a good spot being unmotivated.
No
that's
question.
What I try to tell people. And they're like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, dude, like, get ready to have some fun with this motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I just think structure, though, is like the main thing. But I'm a structured person regardless. I just, no matter what, it's like just regimen. I get up, do cardio, come home, have 2 meals, train, come home. My day's done. That's it. It's podcast time.
Right, exactly. I think the only people who are successful in this endeavor are structured and regimented. There's really no way around it. If you're not, then you can't handle the day-to-day monotony of doing the things that need to be done. And fair, I mean, it's pretty easy to tell. People who are regimented and structured, we find familiarity and that structure to be comforting. It's almost therapeutic. I know myself, if I get out, I'm on the road and I take the same path home every day. If I miss an exit or I have to go to a different gas station, it's like I'm anxious. I need to be on this path of familiarity and structure, and I'm in my comfort zone.
I'm like that, right? Like, I don't like, my mother will tell you, I don't like change. Like, even with chicken, if I'm eating a branded chicken the whole prep, and I can't find it, and I'm like, I'll lose my, I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah,
this isn't okay. So anything, and like, even on a parking spot, like this, the gym I would go to, I park on the right side. There was one day there wasn't any on the right side. I'm like, well, this isn't good.
I can't train. I'm going home. I'm coming back later.
I'm like, I'm not okay with this.
Yeah.
Luckily, someone pulled out and I was getting in, but like, but I'm also, I can adapt also very quickly. Like, if I have to start a new routine somewhere, as long as I have my essentials and everything needed, I can quickly adapt and start brand new.
Yeah, I can certainly. Some people call it OCD. I think that's a little extreme.
You think
so?
OCD.
Okay, all right. Maybe I am, and I'm in denial. I'm
worse in prep, though, for sure. Off season, and I don't know if that's obviously drug related, but
could be.
Once I'm out of prep, I'm still very OCD, but like I'm more lenient with things that made me OCD that I'm not. But then once I get back into a prep and very deep into it, I start to become OCD again.
Well, and let me ask you this, because I wonder, I know how I feel about it, but I wonder if you feel the same way. I tell clients this all the time too, and friends. The last place that you want to question yourself is standing on stage in front of judges and an entire crowd of people and think to yourself, I should have done what I was supposed to do. I should have done everything, versus I did everything I could possibly do correctly.
Yeah. Yep.
So win, lose, or draw, there isn't any, I couldn't have done this any better. And I think that plays into that regiment, that structure, that high expectation that most of us or all of us have when we compete, that we just can't leave any stone unturned, because then it leaves doubt.
And I don't know how you are, but I always do extra no matter what.
It's the nature of the beast.
Like when Kyle's like, there was a time Kyle was like, he always has like these odd numbers, and I don't understand. Like, he'll be like, fasted cardio 50 minutes. I'm like, fuck you, dude. I'm doing an hour. What's 50 minutes?
Yes.
I'm like 40, I'm like 50. To me, I'm like, no one does 50, bro. Yeah. Like, what is the 50 you speak of? So I would just say, fuck it. What's 10 more minutes? I'm going to bust out an hour.
Yeah.
And then like after training, he'd be like, go, do 15 minutes of cardio. I'm going to do a half hour, bro. Like, I'm going to get this in. And then he at the time, I don't think he knew necessarily. So when I went to his house at like 2 weeks out before Pittsburgh, we went to go do fasted cardio. And he's done his, and he comes next to mine, and he's like, oh, an hour. I'm like, yep. And he didn't say, he's like, okay. And then after training, I would do a half hour, and he would just be like, all right. But he didn't say anything, because I think he even learned from himself, like, my body can handle that.
Right. That's,
you know what I mean? Like, if he was like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? Like, why are you so strapped? But I was still big. I was not losing size, or like, my body could handle doing that. So I don't think he questioned it too much. So now he knows, probably moving forward, if we actually need to push, he could probably do that now.
Sure.
So,
yeah. And I think it's the nature of the beast. In this endeavor, we tend to look, whether it's cardio, training, it's the off season. So more protein, more cardio, more training. When in doubt, we do more. Gear sometimes too. It's not the best formula, but that is coming back to that idea of leaving no stone unturned. It's like, well, maybe a little more. But there's a lot of cases too, and I'm going to use myself as an example. I'm working with Justin it's the first person I've ever worked with in my entire life for a show. The only reason is I was going overboard, and I was burying myself the last couple years. I really was driving myself into the ground. So that's the other end of it that sometimes can happen too, is, oh, more is better, more is better. Now I'm in such a hole that I can't dig out, and I don't have time to reset.
I almost feel a lot of people tend to even do that after the show during the rebound phase.
Okay, fair. Yeah. I've seen
Because
that
I
as
have
well.
seen a lot of people keep the same cardio, train the same type of volume and intensity and it's like, yeah, I get why you're doing it, but you're on less shit now.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, this is the time to kind of let the food do the magic, let your body rest. And honestly, you'll probably end up looking better and feel better because you just busted your ass, let's just say for 15, 20 weeks. And now instead of utilizing the food, you're just going to dig yourself a deeper hole by still doing over an hour of cardio, 40 sets per workout, you know. So it's like the rebound, like you're almost defeating the purpose.
Sure. And I think it becomes more of, I can do this work because you have the added calories, but that doesn't mean that you necessarily are recovering from it. There's a big difference between what you can do and what you can recover from. And I think we hold on to that, to hold the condition, to continue to look good.
Well, we still want to stay shredded, right?
Sure.
I mean, that's always the end goal.
Sure. Get as big as, then all of a sudden you wake up and you're fat one morning. I love that.
I get in that mindset sometimes. Like I'll still go pretty hard, and then I'll just wake up one morning and I'm like, I'm losing it. Fuck it, man.
Yep.
I don't care now.
Well, and it can be difficult in the off season. You know, we were talking about the off season earlier because I think a lot of people lose track, a little bit of motivation because there's not that black and white deadline in front of you. You know, in the off season, you're like, you know what? If I go out with my friends tomorrow, even though I don't have friends,
literally,
you know, it's like, I don't know who I would go out with.
I'm going to go out and pretend to talk to myself.
Right, exactly. I'm waiting on friends and I eat a pizza and go, well, I guess they didn't show up. They got busy. But you go out and you're like, I have a pizza, because it's not going to impact what happens through. Arguably, you might have a better workout because you took in more calories than you normally do. But that carrot isn't dangling in front of you. You don't have that black and white deadline. So I know myself, you know, how many years have I ever been? I've trained for 41 years. Another week of off season in the big picture doesn't matter a whole lot. It's not going to change the outcome.
I'm good for like 4 to 6 months. And then I'm like,
I like that time frame. Yeah.
I'm like, we gotta crank it, you know? Because I don't necessarily need off seasons anymore. You know what I mean? It's just more like I don't like drug wise. I don't need to go crazy anymore. You know what I mean? It's more. I could literally probably get away with like a higher dose of a TRT, and as long as my diet's in check and it's enough for me to recover from any volume that I'm doing, I'll grow. You know what I mean? Like, I'll grow.
And I mean, arguably, you've got the size. Are you going to lose a show because you don't have the size? It's to the point now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're kind of fine tuning and adjusting and finding that perfect balance.
There's still some little bit of size to be had. Like I still, like, even after talking to some judges, they still want to see some more outer sweep. They still want to see a little more chest and a little more overall back. So there is still some size to be had, but it's for me and my genetic makeup. It's nothing that food and a little bit of extra stuff can't take care of.
Sure. Yeah.
And the thing is I've learned how to truly train over the years. And when you have that dialed in, you're going to realize you don't need as much bullshit as you think you do. And the food's going to be the main component. And so is the training. All that extra shit. Because, I mean, let's be honest. You and I both know, we know people that flood the gates with a lot of stuff and they look like a bag of dicks.
Sure. Yeah, the growth just isn't there.
If you know how to train, like you know how to connect very easily with a muscle, it's going to grow. Just feed it.
Then let me use that as a segue then into, because I want to know and I want to talk about the nuance of how you trained when you got big and were just taking off. And then when you realized, okay, I might have potential here to be really good at this. How that training evolved. First, before we get to the training, let me know and the listeners know, at what point did you realize or think to yourself, whether it was somebody told you or you thought, I think I have a chance to be good at, like, I could be a pro. When did that, was there a time where you thought, this is what I feel right now.
Even after my first show, even though I looked like a bag of dicks, I believed in myself at that point and knew I'd become a professional. And everyone thought I was delusional. But I guess, quote unquote, my first real coach, I would say, was I worked with Jeff Long.
Okay.
For a few years. And his training approach was more of pyramid. He was a pyramider.
Okay. All right.
Sets of, 12 until we hit a failure set of 12. Move on, right? And I did my first national show with him, which was USA's in 2016. And I took 6th there. And it was a very competitive at that point. 2016, it was still, the light heavyweights was still, I remember looking at these, there was 30 guys. I remember looking at these guys. I was like 21 at the time. And I'm like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? And then I got 6 and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And it was at that moment, okay, now I'm really believing it, And then, I took a year off because I was very big on competing once a year, having a good long off season to make improvements and coming back. So then the following year, I did North Americans in 2017 with him. And that was when I think his businesses were starting to take off, that he had, he just had his kids. So the focus wasn't there. So I kind of bombed that show.
Okay.
And I'm like, that sucks. So then, I obviously expressed to him my feelings, my thoughts. We're on great terms now. I support him as much as I can. And then I got with Dom Cardone right after that. And then we went and did nationals. That was like 12 or 14 weeks later or something. And I ended up putting on like 15 pounds going into that. And I took 6 there. And although I was proud of that, I was like, this is still like a setback because I had to like put back on kind of what I lost and not make improvements. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and at the time he had me training more of like a Cardone. He had me more training like a Meadows type style of training.
Oh, okay.
I followed kind of what Meadows' approach was at the time, which was cool. I liked it. I think it helped. I don't know if I improved per se. But after Cardone, that was when I got linked with Matt Jansen. And I think that's when the big progress started to come because he taught me the whole, top set, back off set method.
So what, short and a lot lower volume?
It was it would be like 2 working sets. That was it.
Yeah.
Not many intensifiers. A couple would be like, he was very big on the rest pause, not drop sets, hardly ever. Even for me, I'm not big on drops. I rather rest pause with the same weight, even close to a show. I don't believe on changing anything close to a show, but we can talk about that later. Mm-hmm. And that was when I got really fucking, like I was deadlifting 7 1/4 on each side for like 5 reps. I was squatting like 6 1/4 on each side for like 5 reps. Like it was like I was at like that strength. Like be careful, brother. But it was, but you see the progression. And this was at this time actually when me and Kyle were like best friends, so we would train together every day. That's what was cool about me working with him now. So because we were best friends, and while I was with Matt, me and him were training together almost. So he would see all these progressions, like weekly. Like I'll never forget. He laughed. He was like, "What the fuck?" Like we shoulder press, Smith machine shoulder press. I did. I think it was like 3 1/4, and I got like 8. The following week, I put 4 plates on. I got 8. It's like I don't understand what's happening. But it would be like these strength jumps week after week after week. And it was very insane. And I think that's, even though then my first show with Matt was the 2019 USA's where I got second, which everyone thought I probably should have won that one too. And that was, that was like the moment where everybody said, oh shit. But then they also were like, he's done. He tapped. He can't make any more changes. He can't change his physique. He's this, he's that. And I hear it all, and I'm like, it didn't bother me. Like, I don't care. Like, at the time, I was just in love with what I was doing. Like, I didn't care. And after the loss and sulking for a little while, I remember I called Matt on the Sunday, and I said, we're going to do North Americans next year. I want to make dramatic improvements, get bigger, keep the waist tight, and I want to come back to North Americans next year and just cause havoc. And he's like, let's do it. And that's what we did. And then, next year, that was actually the rough year for competing, because that was the health scare era, as we'll call it. So it was hard actually to get a little motivated for the first start of prep, because I'm like, are we even going to do this shit? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the shows were being pushed and canceled at that time as well.
We were like 3 weeks out, and we all got an email that North Americans has to move to another venue. And I'm like, this is the start. This is the fucking start. And then it was like a week out or something that they were like, we're going to do it outside in a tent. I'm like, okay, as long as it's not canceled. So I end up turning pro in a tent. And then 6 weeks after that, I did my pro debut at Chicago Pro. I got fourth behind Akeem Williams, Justin Rodriguez, and Max Charles.
Nice. Now, at what point did let me just kind of back up for a second. Things are going well. You're progressing real well. You've dropped the volume down. Obviously, recovery is optimized. You're growing basically weekly.
Yeah.
So at what point did you change from that training to the slower kind of methodical?
No, I trained. That's how I trained.
Oh, you were already training at that slower pace.
Slow, yeah.
Okay.
Very slow and controlled. Yeah, nothing. Okay. Once I got with Matt, nothing I did was like fast and explosive.
Okay, so it slowed down with Matt, essentially.
Very.
And at that time, that's when the progression started to go up as well.
Yes, Matt was also just a very big advocate of train heavy as fuck with low volume and control the weight. It was basically a Dorian Yates style, just a little more volume. That was pretty much it.
And arguably not as ballistic as far as
it was more controlled. I mean, it was definitely more controlled. Yeah. Right. Okay. I mean, if you watch my shit, it's like a 5-second negative.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But after that, you get so strong after a while, and it's cool. But then you get the knee pains, you get the elbow pains, and for a while, like, I would rely on knee wraps and elbow sleeves, and I actually felt like that made shit worse, because now you're everything here is not getting stronger with everything else. You know what I mean?
There's a little bit of support. Support there. Yeah. Yeah.
So then, I stopped training in that fashion to a degree. And that was when obviously I met Jared when I was in Vegas, and I started following the more RP style. I still do it my own way. I just kind of follow their method. And it's still very slow controlled, but it's more full range, which obviously you can't go heavy. I mean, it was a little bit of a mind fuck, because like on a leg press, I could put like 12 to 14 on each side. And when I trained legs with him, I had like 5 or 6 on each side.
Yeah.
It was pretty absurd. But my leg pump and contracting and really feeling the muscle was different than what I've ever felt before. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep doing this shit. And I think, honestly, outside of how me and Matt trained, I think this was a way of progression without hindering any type of joint pain, knee pain. Because I would wake up the next morning and I would be so sore, like ridiculously sore, but I wouldn't feel any like knee pain I wouldn't have any elbow. It's just all in the muscle.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is pretty interesting. So then I pretty much just ran with it. I trained that way for my 2023 Olympia before the injury occurred. And then, I mean, I got into like a bad headspace after that show. So pretty much what I did after that, I kind of trained during Yates style. I literally trained 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday, Friday. And I took the weekends off. And then I stayed on that 4-day-a-week routine leading into the New York Pro that I beat Martin in, which no one liked the way I looked there. And then after I won that and all the shenanigans happened at last year's Olympia, that was when I got with Kyle as the coach. We brought Jared in because I wanted to go back to that type of style. And that's basically what we did going into Pittsburgh and New York. And I think the cool thing with RP is, yes, it is frequency. And yes, the volume does titrate up, but you're not necessarily taking sets to failure. Like,
right.
And I know people are like, oh, you got to train no failure. Yes, I'm a big component of training to failure. I think, the whole science-based of, oh, I got to watch your fatigue. I go blow. I don't, you know what I mean? You're going to get fatigued. But when you know how to connect so hard with a muscle, I think you're capable of stopping short of failure and still getting what you need out of it than going all the way to failure and risking injury. Because I now know how to connect so well that, let's just say on a leg press, I got like a hard fucking 12, but I could have got maybe 14.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'd rather get that hard 12, not possibly risk an extra 2, but rest for 2 to 3 minutes, however, and do it again. Because to me, normally what they say, right? You fail your set, you shouldn't be done, move on. I'd rather do it again and get more time under tension that way.
Yeah, right.
Connect with the muscle even more, and then move on. Because normally when I do it like that, I sometimes I only need like 2 sets. I'm golden. I have the biggest pump in the world. I'm golden.
Now, how do you know when to walk away?
If I want to be like an asshole, I'll go 3 or 4. I don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, on occasion, sure.
But then but sometimes I do that. Like if I'll keep using leg press. If the exercise feels that good, I'll stay on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do 4 to 5 sets. But then what happens is my next exercise, the sets may get cut down.
Sure.
So because I know I train legs, normally I would train legs Monday and Friday. So Friday would be the quad day. So let's just say I do my 5 or 6 hard sets on that leg press. And let's just say I got leg extension next. I might just do 1 set of 16, 15, 20 reps. That's 6 sets of a fucking hard ass shit total. Yeah. Now I got 2 days to recover for Monday. And that's where you have to be smart on what you can and cannot recover from and how much volume you're doing in a session. Because I have no problem with someone doing majority of their quad training on one exercise. If it feels that good and you're just connecting, and it's blowing up, stay. I don't give a fuck. Stay. But I do believe after a certain point, all right, get the fuck off. But then if you want to do just one hard set of a leg extensions, get a good squeeze, get that nice lines popping, go ahead, by all means. But that's it, done. Because you're going to do quads again on Monday. And not as much work, but you're still going to do them. So I just think in that fashion, I was able to progress very, very much.
And I think too, and you touched on this before, the fact that you're a seasoned trainer, you have a lot of experience reading your own feedback and knowing the frequency of coming back another 2 or 3 days later and training legs, that that volume and that intensity, and kind of where to cut it off. Because my question was going to be, how do you know when to cut it off? Because a lot of people will say, I'm just going to go until I don't have a pump anymore. I'm losing the pump. I'm like, I don't know. That's a great idea.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I have done that. I'm like, the pump was fading, and I'm like, oh, fuck, I went too much.
Yeah.
That's how you know. But sometimes what I'll do is I might just change an exercise and maybe like try something a little more higher volume rep wise to see if the pump comes back.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, I'm like, all right, I think we're done here.
Yeah, exactly.
But even now, sometimes I still struggle of like cutting it off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think we all do to a degree, because it's like you did, let's just say for back, you know, you did lat pull downs, 3 sets. Let's just say you did a chest supported T-bar row, 3 sets, and then some type of cable row, 3 hard sets. And let's just say that's Tuesday. You got back again. We'll just say Friday. You're like, I could do more.
Mm-hmm.
I got a big pump, but no, bro. Don't do more.
That's not what you can do. It's what you can recover from. Exactly.
You feel good now, but let's see how you feel as the day goes on. Let's see how you feel the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, including me. I still have that. Like today, I probably went a little too hard, but you learn from it, right?
Right.
You go, okay, now I know next time I do a little less. So.
And I think if you hold back, I tell clients this all the time. If you hold back and you feel that it's not enough and you've gone a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, and you're like, okay, then add a little bit. But the problem is once you add too much, and if you're not recovering, pulling back may not get you to the point of having optimal recovery, where if you keep that volume lower and you realize, okay, I'm recovering very well, then taking it up a notch is less likely to take you over that recovery kind of bar, if you will, and pushing it too far. So it's easier to go up and add than it is to go up too quickly and have to pull back.
I agree. Now, my next question, I'll have one. Do you believe in deloads?
Individually, it depends. And I'll tell you why I think that some people need them. If you are stepping your toe up to that line constantly of potential overtraining, then yeah, I do think deloads. But we need to label the deload. And I don't think that a deload of not training, like basically just taking 3-4 days off or even a week off, is necessary unless you have clearly gone over that line and need to recover.
No, I will do that.
On occasion, and I want to know when.
I won't take a week off, but my deload here, this is where people will call me dumb for my thought process. I can't go in the gym and half-ass.
Exactly. It's very difficult to do.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I know myself. It's not going to happen. I will stay out of the gym for 3 or 4 days.
Okay, but when? At what point do you go, okay, and how do you know, okay, I've got to stay out for a few days?
This is what I'll do for, like you said, if the volume gets too high to where I'm like, what I'll do is I will keep everything the same. I'll just cut volume in half for a week. And at the end of that week, if I'm not feeling fresh yet, after cutting in half, then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just stay out of the gym for a few days.
Okay, and that makes complete sense. That is the individual component of being able to read the feedback and go, okay, I'm just not recovering optimally. So you'll know
too, because your sleep starts to get affected.
Absolutely.
Your appetite will start to get affected.
HRV, if you're tracking your sleep.
You'll get signals before it actually happens.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely, 100%. And I like your cue about, and I think this is important, so I want to come back to it real quick. The cue about staying on the exercise if it feels good. And the reason I say that is because I came off of injuries in 2020, big ones that I've never had in my life before, with knee and due to a torn glute. And I realized very quickly, if I open my leg sessions, my quad sessions with an exercise that feels good, I'm not going to go to the next one if that one feels good until I've milked this one, because my knee might bother me.
Performance chiropractic and sports medicine in the Houston Bay Area, telemedicine and nutrition coaching all over Texas. And if you're not in Texas, don't worry. You still do consults through the educatedmeathead.com, where you also find workout programs, seminar recordings, and online courses.
I agree. Like, even let's just say you start with leg extensions and it is smooth like butter. You got a pump and a half. Why do 2 sets?
Right. Exactly.
That's what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
No, keep going. Have fun, brother.
Yeah.
Because guess what? You'll be fresh and recovered in a few days because in science, leg extensions is the least fatiguing.
Yeah.
So you'll have a blast. You know what I mean? Like even with hack squats, if it feels good, stay. Who cares? Because even like with back, if my favorite chest supported row is two of them. It's either the Atlantis one or the Arsenal one.
Yep.
And if you're just having a fucking party on this machine and you got like, two other exercises after, who cares?
Yeah. People act like there's rules.
Yeah,
there's not rules.
First
there's
of all,
guidelines.
It's a row. Your back's going to grow like crazy. It's a fucking row machine. Row. Go ahead. I don't care.
Yeah.
And then once you get, once you feel like, okay, I think I'm good. Now, if you're going to hit back, you're going to hit back 2 to 3 days later. I would just end with a stretching. I'm big on the stiff arm pull down. So I would end with a nice big stretch on there, high rep, 15, 20 reps, try and pump the lats as high. I'm good. There's not
I was going to ask you about dumbbell pullovers because when you said stretching. So you're more of a fan of the stiff arm pull down than, okay. All right.
I like dumbbell pullovers. But I feel for me, a majority of the people I know, they just can connect better when it comes to the stiff arm cable.
Fair enough. How about a dumbbell?
Or if you have a pullover machine,
that's where I was going.
I would choose that indefinitely.
And it depends on the machine.
Yes.
Definitely depends on the pullover machine. Yes. Yeah, I agree. 100%. Let me ask you real quick about the injury component because I want to kind of try to connect or see if there's a connection between your training style, slowing down the reps, that sort of thing, your intensity level versus any major or minor injuries you've had. Obviously, the hamstring issue, curious how that tied in. If there was something where you said, okay, I could see this coming in retrospect, or if it just came from nowhere. And I don't know if you have other injuries that you've had in the past.
I actually tore both my hamstrings.
Oh, okay. All right.
I tore, so that was actually before 2019 USA's. I was doing stiff legs, like very, very heavy stiff legs. I remember I filmed it, so I had it on.
Oh, that's the worst. Yeah.
And I was going down, I don't know, it was rep 3. And my leg just twinged right in. I'm like, fuck. And it didn't start to bruise right away. So I'm like, I might be okay. I might not. And then the next morning, it started to bruise. But that was like 4 or 5 weeks out. So like I was able, believe it or not, I was still able to train quads.
Okay. Yeah. And if it's pull from a stiff leg, that would make, it's possible.
I had my leg day separate where it was a ham day, quad day. And the quad day was like 4 days later. It hurt doing leg extensions, obviously, because I had to sit on it. I still did it like an asshole, though. But leg press, hack squats, that was fine. Even lunging to a degree, depending on foot placement, was fine.
Okay.
And then it was about 2 weeks out where like I started to do a little hamstring stuff, but it was very, very light. I just wanted to get some blood in it and squeeze, and that was fine. And then obviously in 2023, I toured the other one, and that was just a freak. I to this day, I don't have a story beside the fact that I was doing a shoulder press movement and stood up, and I just felt a twinge, and then it just got worse from there.
Okay. So is it safe to say then that you really don't see, because look, there's no way to completely eliminate the possibility of injury. I mean, we can change our training and we can be smart, but it can still happen.
Injuries it's going to happen regardless. The thing is how much can we prolong not getting injured for?
Yeah.
And that's just going to be the style in which you train. And I'm, obviously with me and Kyle, when I went to his house and, we trained together for like 3-4 weeks in a row, he understands my training, but he's also one of those guys that, we're going to fucking train. Yeah. We're pushing. So then I get back into that mindset, and I miss having that type of mindset. But like, I remember putting him through a leg day, and it was a lot of volume to a degree. Like we did 3 or 4 sets of leg extension. It was like 3 or 4 sets of hack squats, 2 sets of leg press, and then we'd end with body weight walking lunges for like 3 rounds. And I'm like, I'm good. You know, and he's like, ugh. But he's because he's used to like the lower volume.
Yeah.
To where it's 1 to 2 all-out sets. And and people will always, this is where like I think I'm different. Because you would think in an off-season setting, you would go a lot higher volume because you have the food and everything else to kind of back it up. And then in prep, you know, you do a little more lower volume. My body changes dramatically when I do higher volume in the prep closer to a show.
Okay. All right.
And I
now, is it possible the gear plays into it a little bit to help balance out the lack of calories?
Obviously.
Yeah. But you have more calories in the off season, more gear in the in the prep. So they kind of balance out.
Recovered like perfectly fine. Like I don't even get sore the next day.
Oh, okay. All right.
Unless it's like legs, obviously I'll feel it the next day. But by the time the next leg day comes, I'm good. Back would rarely ever get sore. Chest never, and it's like, how they go? Are you good? I'm like, yeah, bro. Yeah,
comes back to that rule where people say, my chest wasn't sore, so it didn't grow. It's like, oh, that's just a really bad way to look at it.
Yeah. I feel like, you know, in the bigger picture, you don't really want to be sore.
Right.
Like that's
definitely not crippled sore.
No,
yeah, a little bit of soreness, maybe.
I feel like you want to wake up and be like, okay, that was a good workout. We're good. Yeah. But like when you're like, when you're crippling and everything, you can't move your shit. It's like
sitting down on the toilet. I think if you're having a hard time going downstairs, good luck. Yeah, good luck with that one. The next leg workout might not be great. Yeah.
Yeah, too much.
I got one more question before we transition to the intimate time, and that's this. And it's not related as much to training, definitely to the industry. You handle, at least on the surface, the negative talk and the trolling masterfully. It really seems like it doesn't impact you. But I mean, in fairness, I mean, look, I got pretty thick skin, man. I come from the message boards or anything else, but I still find it difficult when I'm being honest by myself alone in front of my computer that it does kind of stab a little bit when someone will take a cheap shot or they come at you when you know that person, it's not coming from your peers. It's not coming from people who respect you. It's just coming from some dipshit who really doesn't know any better. And I'm wondering, when did you get to the point? And maybe it was early on. I don't know. Maybe you have more. The maturation process is better for you than it is for me at 55. But have you always handled the negative comments as well as you do now? Or did it get to the point where you're like, you know what? At this point, I just don't give a shit anymore.
No, I mean, I started getting a lot of negativity when I was like 18, 19, 20, 21.
Okay, so you had practice.
When I came up on the scene and blew up rather fast, I got a lot of negativity. So I didn't handle it well then. But yes, over time, you learn like none of these people are in my life. I literally know none of them. None of them have relevancy. And you just get to a point where you're like, it's just probably a bunch of people that have zero life, that literally sit behind a computer screen and talk shit because their life is miserable. And I've learned as I got older that I actually have compassion for those people because their life probably sucks. Yeah. And my life is great. So
it's a good point. It's a good point. I think there's resentment in there, if I'm being honest. That's how I've always looked at it.
I'll be honest, this time around though, not doing the Olympia in 2024 due to bullshit, and I literally got smoked by everybody. That got to me, really bad.
That's pretty transparent and pretty honest of you to say, because I really honestly, I sat there and I went, I don't know how this wouldn't get to me.
Oh no, it did, and it did for a little while. So what I decided to do was, I'm not gonna talk anymore. Like, I'm just not going to say anything. I'm going to do what got me to this point was no talking, just work my ass off and let the work do the talking. And I'm just going to post pictures. I'm going to post my workout videos and let people see what's going on. And I'm not going to say a word.
Is it possible that doing that and getting that negative shit ended up being a positive in the end?
Of course,
because it changed how you did it. I agree. I can certainly see the potential there.
And I knew, without applying that pressure, I knew I had a point to make going into Pittsburgh. Like, because I remember when I first got with Kyle, you know, I literally sat him down. I said, look, bro, I said, I can't go to this show and people go, oh, yeah, Nick looks great. That's Nick. No. I said, I need, like, I want people out of their fucking seats. I want people's jaws to drop. I want people to lose their minds. And he's like, we'll make it happen. And
I'll tell you what, I was going to come to this after the intimate time, but I'm going to change it. I want to, because we're moving that direction right now, let's go with it. I want to know, I have my perspective on it, but it doesn't really matter much of what I thought should have happened a few weeks ago in Pittsburgh. There's been time to process it now. It's not like 2 days later and it's still kind of rumbling around in your head. Yeah. You have time to process it. I'm curious what your candid thoughts are on that show and whether you, not anybody else, not the fucking MCs, not Skip, all the people who support you, all the people that have hated you, and then come around because they like you now. I mean, it's just so fickle, right? It's just like, oh, we hate him. Oh shit. Okay, now I'm a fan. What are your thoughts on should you have had that win?
Unbiased opinion aside, because it's me. You know, I obviously am very critical of myself and who I go against, and I will sit and look at comparison photos for hours on end. And I've spoken to certain judges that explained it, but I still don't understand how he won.
That's a pretty honest take. Yeah. And I think you're not alone. You're not alone. There are a lot of people.
To the grave. If people ask me, like, how do you feel about Pittsburgh? I'll say I won. I don't care.
I haven't seen a show in quite a while where I thought, because look, I was friends with Phil Heath. I competed against him in his second show at Colorado State. Became friends with him and watched him climb the ladder and knew this guy's he's gonna dominate, despite that he doesn't have a back. He'll never have a back. All the shit that was ever said.
And look what his back became. You know? Exactly.
And I remember thinking, it's not because I know him. It's because I've been in this industry for so long that clearly I wanted him to win because he was my friend. But I can put that bias aside and say, he deserved everything he had, and he was never, I was always a fan of Kai. Look, if someone said, do you want to look like Kai or do you want to look like Phil? I'd be like, you know what? Kai's physique's a little crazier than Phil's. I might go with the Kai look if God came down and said, you have to look like one of these guys. But at the same time, Phil, I just always felt that he was better. I did think in watching that show, even though I like you, you're a good guy, I support you, I think you're great for the sport, love the family component, that type of shit. I think you're just, the sport needs more people like you. That being said, I still think that I sat that bias aside and I said to myself, he should have won that show. But I'll say this. I do think, and I think this played into it, I think that the bodybuilding industry, and I think this has happened a lot before with close Olympias at the top, you have to knock out the guy. You can't just beat him. You have to knock him out. And I think that played into it.
I won't say I destroyed him by any means. Derek's Mr. Olympia, the recent Arnold champ. But I think, I may have not knocked him out, but I think, to me, it was clear I won.
If you took everything else out of it and just that show, and you just made the comparisons, I could see you winning that show. And I expected it. I expected it to happen When it didn't happen, I was surprised. Like a lot.
Did you see my face?
Yes. Yes, I did. And you handled it very, very well. The point was made. It was clear. It was clear that you were like, oh my God, like I thought.
Well, here's the thing. It was one of those moments where like, because this was like a special moment. And it had nothing to do about beating Derek. I could give a shit. I mean, that was icing on the cake because it's Derek. But like, this was a show where like I remember when I said to Kyle, I need to win. I don't care who. This is before I even knew Derek was doing it. I said, I need to win. But not only do I need to win, the win can't be close. Mm. It needs to be Nick just dominated the whole fucking show. Yeah. And that's the end of it. And I do believe I did that. But obviously, it's Derek. That threw the monkey wrench. And, when that happened, when he announced he was doing it, everyone's like, oh my God, are you nervous? Are you nervous? I said, no, it doesn't change what I'm doing. If anything, this is going to make my victory sweeter. And I may have not won the show, but I won everything else that he did.
Yeah, and the hype that you single-handedly created for this Olympia coming up, and I don't usually pay attention. Look, to me, I've been around Olympias since, 1982 when Lee Haney won his first one. They're anticlimactic to me. I don't want to say that I'm apathetic, but it's not an emotional like, oh my God, it's so exciting. Even when Phil was competing and I was friends with him. But I got to tell you, I'm pretty invested in this next, and I'm going to be there because of business and the expo and everything else. So it's going to be cool. And this is no pressure because Skip wants you to win, but I really am looking forward to the fact that I'm going to be there and it's going to be a really good show. And I think honestly, your Pittsburgh, you showing up in Pittsburgh and doing what you did in Pittsburgh and then coming back to the New York Pro, this is, you single-handedly have created this hype and it's great for the sport. You have won over so many haters that it makes me smile. It's just really cool. And it does show how fickle people are, but hey, you pulled him back and you made a hell of a statement even by not beating him. And I know that that's not much consolation. It probably wouldn't have been for me either, but I'm just telling you, I just want you to know that statement was made. Oh, yeah. Even when you didn't end up beating him in the end. Disappointed. Well, a lot of people were disappointed.
It's like now, right? Like we have 20 weeks. Mm-hmm. And I know, we talked about, earlier in this podcast, about resting, letting the body chill. I'm too motivated for that. Mm-hmm. I'll be honest. Like I see everyone kind of chilling, relaxing, taking vacations. I called Tyler. I got the feedback that I needed. It's time to work. I don't have time to bullshit around. I don't have time to rest. I have rest days. That's when I rest. Right. You know what I mean? And I just think, now that I'm back home, I'm back in a very good and positive environment with my family. I just feel like this is going to be an Olympia nobody will forget.
I like that. And that covers one of the questions I was going to ask, because I did wonder if you feel more comfortable being back in Jersey.
I do. I'm actually going to move back. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm disappointed because I'm down here in Florida. I'd love to see you stay, but I want what's best for you. And if that is being around your family, look, I'm a family guy too. I got 4 kids and I can't stand not being around them too.
Is being in Jersey, this is where the people that truly believe in me are, right? This is where family is. And it's like my mom, right? She's so invested. As much as sometimes I hate it and find it very fucking annoying. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like I can't have a conversation without bodybuilding and being involved. I'm like, can we just discuss a TV show? We just, you know what I mean? Like, can I not think about bodybuilding? I love it. To a small fucking degree, I love it because I love the passion my mother has for this. And she has no problem sitting me down and going, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. And sometimes it makes me want to blow my fucking head off. But everything she says, it's right. It's fucking right. She's not just some mom that supports it. It's like, you look good. Nah, dude.
My little Nick.
Nah, she ain't like that shit. She's gonna throw down on you and real fucking hard. And I like having parents like that. You know, even my brother's like that. They're all very much invested, and I think that's where I need to be surrounded.
I agree with you, and I think a lot of people who don't have that wouldn't understand that. But when you do have it, it's pretty important.
And honestly, East Coast people are better than Florida people.
I agree with you 100%. And I'm not from Florida, just for the record. I'm not, and I noticed it because I'm from Colorado. We're all nice in Colorado. Yeah. Come down here and they don't care. Oh, dude, man.
Everyone on the East, we're all nice, but we're blunt as fuck. We don't hold back, but we don't. It's like there's no like usage of people over here on the East Coast. You know what I mean? You find where, you know, you could be the biggest douchebag in the world, but because of who you are, everyone wants to surround yourself. You know what I mean? Here, they don't give a shit who you are. If you're a dick, you're a fucking dick, bro. They don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? And I like that. I remember walking the first time I came back in prep, because I came back at like 5 weeks out. I walked into a gym that they just opened a couple years ago. I haven't gone one to go, and nobody even looked at me. And I just had some people were like, "Oh, what's up, Nick?" And I'm like, "What's up?" And I'm like, I love this. People don't make a big deal about nothing over here.
Yeah. When you know who really gives a shit, who wants to be around you because, you know, they know you versus someone who wants to ride your coattails because
you can always tell. You know?
Nick, gotta ride Nick. He's my buddy. I guess.
Exactly. But no, I thrive in this type of environment. I always have. And I think honestly, like moving around as much as I did, I was just avoiding the inevitable of wanting to come back home. Yep. So this is going to be, I still have my house in Vegas, though. I'll keep that motherfucker forever. I love Vegas.
It's the new Mecca. Yes, there is no California, unfortunately, anymore. It is definitely Vegas.
And I love about Vegas, too, where my house is in Vegas. I just love waking up and opening my front door and just seeing a nice, beautiful mountain view. Mm-hmm. To me, that's really fucking peaceful. You know?
I do miss those mountain views. The ocean and the beach, it's cool, but it's not like that view.
It's not it, bro. It's really not it.
No.
Where in Florida do you live?
I am downtown West Palm, just off the
West Palm.
Yeah. We were in Fort Lauderdale only for a couple. I got to follow my wife. My wife's career is what took us down here.
I was in Port St. Lucie.
Yeah, we were pretty close. That's why when you weren't here, I was like, oh man, he's got here.
I didn't know you were in West Palm though. Oh no, shit.
About 5 years now. So
okay.
You know though, the gyms are better in Jersey. The gyms in West Palm, you got to get to Miami before the gyms get.
I was going to say, you're in West Palm. Where do you train, dude?
I'll tell you, I train at a 24/7 garage style small gym that has everything I need, and I love it. I go in there, and there might be 2 people in there.
That's dope.
I absolutely love it.
That's dope. Though.
I mean, I could go up to Raw, and I could, do that thing, but no. I like that old school garage style. Just bang and not have to deal with people.
Absolutely.
I don't need to be seen. I don't need to be talked to. Just let me bang and get the hell out of here.
Yep. Just do your thing. I love it.
It's therapeutic. Part of it's therapy. It keeps us sane.
Training's always therapy.
Yeah. 100%.
Now, normally that's why I train. People get mad when I don't like to train with people. I'm like, look,
it's my time.
This is my time.
Yep.
It's nothing personal. I'm sure you're a fantastic partner. I come here. This started as therapy and it's going to stay therapy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I'll hang out with somebody if it's the off season and we're having a burger or some donuts.
Yeah.
That's about the extent of it. Not in the gym. This is
me time.
Yeah. And I want total control. You probably do too. I don't want to cave to what you need to do in the gym. I want to do what I'm doing.
They'll be like, can we do this exercise? That's when I'll be like, you can go do it.
Yeah, I'll be right over here doing this.
I'm going to go do this one.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't give a shit.
I tell you, I could talk to you for 2 hours. The listeners could listen to you for 2 hours. I want to keep it going, but I'm going to have to transition to the intimate time. We'll finish it up with that, and I'll take us out. Intimate time with Skip and Nick Walker, the Mutant. Essentially, it's just 10 questions that cannot be related to bodybuilding, the industry, chicken and rice, nothing like that. So give a little bit of insight into, you outside of picking up heavy things and putting them back down.
I actually love this more than talking bodybuilding.
Fair enough. Number one, if you're not a professional chicken and rice eater, what would be your dream job or career?
I always wanted to be a cop.
We have that parallel. I was headed in that direction too.
Growing up,
I was younger.
I always wanted to be a cop. For one reason, though, I always just wanted to have a gun. Oh, okay. Fair. Well, you're from Jersey, so it's difficult to get a gun in Jersey. Yeah. Not so much in Florida or Colorado, but I have one in Florida. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Number two. Much like The Purge, from 8 p.m. tonight until 6 a.m. tomorrow, cookies magically have 0 calories. Which cookie company do you order from online or visit locally in New Jersey?
So there's this cookie company that I literally just had in Pittsburgh, and I don't even know how to say their name because it's Cookey. So I think it's like cookie or some shit like that. But if you go on my Instagram, actually, I just posted a video for them of the one cookie I ate. Their cookies are phenomenal. And I devoured like 10 of them bitches real quick.
Now, are they the new style, like dessert gooey 4-pounders, or is it the old school, they'll break and they'll fall apart like a Levain cookie?
Oh, I love Levain too. Shit.
Oh, keep an eye on the mail. Oh.
Now you're fucking with me. No, they're not 4-pounders, but they are the bigger kind of cookie.
Okay, that's the trend. They're gooey and they fall apart. Yeah,
and there was one in specific I wanted, and I said, just send me a box of those, and then a box of surprise me, I don't care. And it was their oatmeal cream pie cookie.
I'm a sucker for oatmeal, bro. Oatmeal raisin. Oh my God.
That was phenomenal. The best cook. I mean, they're in the video. If you have time to go watch it, it's on my face. It's pretty funny. I didn't even know it was on my face.
That makes it even better. Yeah,
but see, you're fucking with me, bro. Because Levain cookies are phenomenal. And low key, you know who else has phenomenal chocolate chip cookies? Chick-fil-A.
No kidding. I was going to go with Panera. But you can never go wrong with Panera either. Yeah. Yep. That's funny. Panera used to have a scone that was covered in so much icing, and it was just so. And then they went away. This is like 5 years ago. They quit making them. I quit going there. That was like a cheat. One of my main cheat type.
I gotta know before you go to the next question. Where would you go for a muffin?
Locally down here, I'm kind of a trendy hipster type of guy. So I'm downtown West Palm. I've got like Maman, New York.
Fuck you, dude. You got like all the good shit.
Yeah, Salty Donut is literally 2 blocks from me.
I can't. See, me, I go Dunkin' Donuts all day long.
Oh, okay. All right.
They got the blueberry muffin that has like the sugar sprinkles on top.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, and Panera's got good muffins as well. They have an apple crumb one. This is crazy. Oh man. Anyway, this could go on for an hour.
I know.
All right, let me get to number 3. A role model that you feel has been the most influential in your life to this point.
See, this is where my answer changed as I got older. I always said Jay Cutler, but I think the reality is I'm going to go with my mom and dad.
I set that question up because I really thought that that's where you would go.
Yeah. I think the older I've gotten, I realized how much they both have sacrificed for me to get to where I'm at. I think, seeing how hard my dad works his ass off, he literally gets up at like 3, 4 in the morning, and I don't see him till like 7 at night. And he eats dinner, showers, and goes to bed and does it all over. That motherfucker truly hates his job, but you'll never hear him complain about it. And I think that's where they just instilled every attribute that I have when it comes to hard work. And my mom's also the type of person where she wants to do something, she's going to do it to the fullest and not quit. And that's obviously instilled in me. And I just think I have my dad's, dedication to whatever I'm doing, and just do it and make sure it's done right.
That's awesome. As a parent, when you have kids, you will hope that they feel the same way about you that you do about them.
Yeah, my parents, they're definitely the heroes.
That's good shit. Number 4, what are your top 3 movies of all time?
Oh, dude.
No kidding.
Is this like any, or are we going like
any
genre here?
Nope, any. I got to make it easy. I can't make it that complicated. Narrow it down to genre.
I'm going to go specifically Rocky 4.
Okay.
I like that one's my favorite.
Dolph.
I'm going to go 300, the first one.
Nice.
Remember the Titans.
Love it. Love it. All right.
Definitely.
I thought there might be a Shawshank in there, but I wasn't sure. I like know.
Shawshank, but it's too long of a movie for me.
Fair enough. We got to keep them short. Got to keep them short. Yeah. You're not a limited series guy, right?
2 hours and like 20 minutes. And anything past that. Although I will say, and my geeky side will come out and say, I love Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay. All right.
And those movies are over 3 hours and shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not a sci-fi guy. As soon as that bus jumped in speed, when it went over the bridge and there was no incline, I'm like, I can't do this. This could never happen. I can't watch this crap. Turned it off. All right. Number 5. What sport do you enjoy watching the most, and who is your team?
Well, that football for sure. And I'm an Eagles fan all the way.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Number 6, Jordans, Oliver Cabell, or slides. Basically, what do you wear for shoes when you're not in the gym?
Dude, you missed the mark here. Let me show you.
Oh, you're an UGG guy.
I'm an UGG guy all day.
I would have never thought that. Okay,
cool. I wore these out to my fancy dinner with my family the other night. I'm not putting shoes on, man.
I had a pair that were my house slippers. You know why I don't wear them? Why? Because my feet never stink, dude, in my whole life. Really? Maybe when I was a teenager and I played baseball at 15.
They stink with those, though?
With the Uggs. 2 things. Birkenstock I cannot wear.
Me neither. I tried.
It's like the cork sucks up all the stinkiness. I don't know.
Like
and they look like Jesus sandals. I can't do that anyway.
You know what I do like? My dad just got me hooked on them. You ever get a pair? They're called the Hey Dudes.
Yes. Yeah. Very comfortable.
I actually really like Hey Dudes.
Yep. Very comfortable. Very comfortable.
I feel like this is like my older, mature side now coming through, because like if you asked me this question like last year or the year before, it's like Jordans all day, brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now I'm like, nah, dude, I'm all about comfort.
Well, I put Oliver Cabell in there because I didn't know if you would know what that was. Oh, very cool. Okay. All right. What about Beja?
No.
Okay. Check out Beja. Yeah, I just ordered 3 pair. Love them. Yeah, love them. Check it out. Okay. If you don't like the Campos, I'm gonna be shocked. Jake. Yeah.
I'll look them up after this.
Check them out. See if you like them or not. Number 7. Are you a watch guy? If so, which brand?
I am not a watch guy. I actually never wear a watch, but hopefully whenever the time's right, though, I would like to own one Rolex in my life.
Nice.
Just to say I have one.
I'm going to go, finally, it's a goal of mine. And I'm the same.
I know that. Yeah.
I cannot go, I don't dress up. This is I laughed and posted the other day. Right behind me is Goldman Sachs. I wave at them. They wave at me. They wonder what I'm doing. They're wearing $6,000 suits. And I always think it would be so cool to go to work, you know, all dressed up and everything. But they probably see me and my 5 cats and go, what is this guy doing in downtown West Palm that he's got professional lighting and he's wearing a sweatshirt all the time? Anyway, I am going to go watch shopping this weekend because I want to buy my first Breitling. So I'm going to buy it. I'm going to show it to you, and you might just be like, "Oh, that's pretty. That's pretty."
I do. I actually want to see which one you got.
I will. Yeah. I'll give you a shot. I've got it narrowed down to a few, so I'm going to go to the boutique. I'm going to basically feel like Pretty Woman for 2 hours and take my time and go, oh, I think I'm not sure. I'm going to do this. And I'm going to end up paying cash because that was my thing. I'm not going to buy it on credit.
It's and I'm going to be cool when you pay cash, right? Like,
I will feel good about it going, I don't need this, but I've always wanted this and I deserve it. Exactly. I deserve it. I'm going to buy this for myself.
I love the mental. I love that. Yes.
Very cool. Number 8, you are driving in your car. What music is playing?
Hi, Eminem.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. I'm an Eminem TI guy. Over and over and over and over. Till I collapse.
That's it. Yep.
Number 9, most nostalgic. This one's might be a little harder. It depends. Because it just depends on your past. Most nostalgic smell or scent that takes you back to your childhood. It could be like, maybe it's mom's perfume. Maybe it's fresh cut grass. But something that if you smell it, you go, oh my God, that takes me back to when I was like
when my dad cooks on the grill.
I love it. Okay. Yeah. All right. And some people, they don't know how to answer. They're like, I'm not sure. And there may not be anything there.
I was going to say, whenever I come back to Jersey and I smell the fucking gas from the gas station.
Oh, okay.
But I think the grill would take me more back to like the childhood days for sure.
Here's why I asked this question. I was born and raised in Battle Creek, Michigan. It's the cereal city capital of the world. General Mills, Kellogg's, Post.
Oh.
In the summer, when Kellogg's would make Fruit Loops, it'd only be about once a week, but it would waft through the air of the entire city. And I remember going to sleep smelling Fruit Loops. I know. And they have a candle. One of the candle companies makes a Fruit Loop smell candle.
I'm kind of jealous.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Growing up, that was one of my favorite cereals.
It was very, very cool. Very cool.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not from Colorado originally. We raised the kids there for 21 years, so I consider it home. But I'm actually from Michigan. How many
states have you lived in?
Michigan, grew up in Michigan, so did my wife. And then we moved to Colorado. We raised the kids there for about 21 years. And then after we empty nested, then we moved down to.
What was the reason you moved to Florida for?
Essentially, my wife's career. She had kind of hit the ceiling in Colorado because they had gentrified so much earlier. South Florida it's just growing out of control. So it's been great for her career. She's in commercial and residential, essentially like management for high rises, like luxury high rises, things like that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Florida. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. New York Life, Bizzuto, things like that.
I get it.
She's good at her job. Somebody's got to make money around here, right? So that I can wear sweatsuits and make podcasts. Right. All right. Number 10, last question. A typical date night destination with your girlfriend would be where?
Bro, come on. You know the answer.
I hope it's sitting around watching Netflix and chilling.
Cheesecake Factory, brother.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. I got to ask you.
Cheesecake fucking Factory. If she ain't with it, she can get the fuck out.
That's awesome. And I'm not, I've said before, I'm not a big Cheesecake Factory fan until.
You're insane.
I know. Until I had their French toast. Dude, I checked the nutrition.
Oh, it's so good.
It's insane. They infuse butter into the syrup.
Go there and have a burger.
I've not had one. I will do that.
I'm a big burger fan. You'll like do you like sweets? I'm sure you like sweets.
Oh.
Okay. if you're not a fan of cheesecake, I don't know if you are or not, but if you're not,
I can do a good cheesecake. And
outside of their cheesecake menu, I'm going to tell you 3 desserts that are amazing. Because I've had everything on this fucking menu.
It's a big menu too.
Yes, I know. They have this Hot Linda's fudge cake. Okay. If you like chocolate, phenomenal. They have the carrot cake. If you like carrot cake,
I'm a huge carrot cake fan.
You need to get their carrot cake.
Is it heavy and like cream cheese frosting? Yes. Like it's heavy. Okay.
Yes. It's probably my favorite. And they have this thing, it's called strawberry shortcake. Now, it's not a cake at all. What it is it's like 3 biscuit type
biscuits.
Of things.
Oh, you already got me. Yep.
Stuffed with ice cream, topped with like a shit ton of whipped cream, and it comes with chocolate sauce or caramel sauce on the side. You fuck that shit up, and then a shit ton of strawberries all over it.
Oh my goodness.
Phenomenal.
I've made note of all 3 mentally, but if I need to come back to this, I will come back to this and make a note.
I will guide you on the path to success.
3 blocks. It's behind me. We have one downtown.
You lucky fuck. I would be there every weekend, bro.
Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna have to check that out. The only thing I've had there is their cheesecake, because they have 40 different flavors.
Which one did you get?
It's usually something with caramel. If you put caramel on it, I'm good. But you know what? I'll eat anything.
They're all good, but I think my favorite one is the red velvet.
That one I have not have.
I'm a red velvet guy. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Another mental note. Mental note.
That's the best one.
Yeah. On that note, that covers the 10 questions. I don't want to, but I got to take us out. I really appreciate having you on. I appreciate you taking the time,
bro. I don't care.
It's a lot of fun. I was like, Nick, it'll be fun. I promise it'll be fun. Now, I don't know if it's fun for you, but it was a lot of fun for me.
No, I enjoyed it. I feel like we get along very easily.
Yeah. It's very comfortable.
Yes.
It's just conversational.
Once things are comfortable, it flows perfectly. Yes.
Exactly. On that note, we got to get to getting. This is Skip and the Mutant splitting. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to like, subscribe, share, and ring the bell. It should sound a little something like this. And if you didn't like the show, just pretend you did. Like, subscribe, share, and ring the bell anyway. We want to hear your questions, feedback, and any ideas you have about future topics in the YouTube comment section. If your question or topic is used on the show, you'll be entered into a drawing, and we'll randomly choose one winner at the end of each month who will receive a 5-pound bag of Team Skip protein from TrueNutrition.com. Be sure to use the TrueNutrition.com link in the closing credits to save 10% on not just Team Skip protein, but every supplement they sell. Not only do I use my Team Skip protein with my clients, but other top prep guys have their clients use my protein because it's that good. If you have too much skin, go to teamskip.com. I'm your guy. You'll find all of my contact information, including Team Skip merch. Of course, you can follow me on Instagram at Intense Muscle as well. Keep in mind that Chris is the enigma behind the scenes. He's responsible for the visuals and the graphics, and he also plays a huge role in the creative process. This project would not work without him. It's been a business doing pleasure with you. Join us again next week for another episode of Between Two Dumbbells.
Loading Skip.